Welcome back to Basement Integrity Podcast by Icerino. Following our last discussion in episode 14, where we explored how lowering your basement enhances foundation and usable space, today we're diving into something crucial alongside that: waterproofing.
That's right. Yeah, this deep dive is all about why waterproofing during lowering isn't just, a nice to have. It's absolutely essential.
Essential for protecting your investment.
Right.
Right. And avoiding some pretty big headaches later on.
Exactly. We'll be touching on points from our recent blog post, why basement waterproofing shouldn't be an afterthought to lowering.
Okay, so think about it like this. You're making a huge improvement to your home, a really significant one.
You are.
And we want that to last. Here in Toronto, our experience shows that means tackling water issues proactively.
Right. Especially with the age of many homes we see. Think about the Annex, Riverdale, Leslieville. Charming places.
Totally. But those foundations weren't originally designed for, finished basements, were they?
No, not at all. Back then, foundations were mostly structural. Support the house, that was the goal.
Not necessarily keeping things bone dry downstairs.
Correct. So when you decide to lower one of these basements, you're fundamentally changing things,
You're altering the original setup, digging deeper.
going beyond the original footings. And that can, well, as we put in the blog, it can sort of open up a can of worms, potentially.
Right, exposing vulnerabilities, maybe moisture paths that weren't an issue before.
Precisely. And it changes how groundwater interacts with your foundation.
Yeah.
You've got more wall below ground now.
So more surface area, potentially exposed to moisture.
Which is exactly why we believed tackling waterproofing during the lowering. It's just the smartest way, the most logical, most cost-effective time.
It really makes sense when you put it that way, because waiting until after the new concrete's poured.
Oh, that's where it gets tricky.
Yeah.
And expensive.
What's the main problem with delaying?
Access. Simple as that. Once that new slab is down, maybe you've even started putting up walls or flooring.
Getting back to the foundation itself becomes a huge job.
You'd likely have to break up that brand new floor for any interior solutions. Messy. Costly.
Not ideal.
Oh.
And what about fixing things from the outside later?
Well, then you're talking about digging all around your foundation again. Expensive excavation.
Right after you've lowered it and maybe fixed up the landscaping? Ouch.
Yeah, it's a painful thought. Plus, leaks aren't always dramatic floods, right?
No, that's a key point from the blog, too. They can be sneaky.
Exactly. Water can creep in slowly, behind the drywall, into the insulation. You might not see it for ages.
And by then, the damage is done. And the repair bill is much higher. Mold, maybe?
Often, yes. Which brings us to that example we shared from East York. A real cautionary tale.
Can you remind us about that one? It really drove the point home.
Sure. This homeowner, they did the lowering in the spring, looked great, but they decided to, push waterproofing off to save some money up front.
Okay.
Then, late fall, heavy rain, then a thaw,
Yeah.
and boom.
Yeah.
Significant water in their newly lowered, partly finished basement. Yeah. They had to rip out new flooring, deal with mold. The final cost to fix everything.
Let me guess.
Almost double what it would have cost to just include waterproofing with the lowering project initially.
Double. Wow. That really says it all. Okay, so for homeowners listening, if they're getting quotes for lowering, what's a red flag?
A big one is if the contractor isn't talking seriously about moisture protection right from the start. It needs to be part of the plan.
It shouldn't be an optional add-on.
Absolutely not. Experienced teams like us at Icerino, we know the local soil conditions, Roncesvalles, Forest Hill. Some areas just have higher water tables, more pressure.
Hydrostatic pressure, that's the water in the soil pushing against the walls?
That's the one.
Yeah.
And without proper waterproofing, that pressure will find a way through weaknesses in the concrete. It's just physics.
So a good contractor presents a complete plan. Excavation, structure, drainage, moisture control, all together.
That's what you should expect. A comprehensive, integrated approach.
Okay, let's talk methods. Our blog mentions exterior and interior options. How do we handle those during lowering?
Right. So exterior waterproofing. That's usually preferred if we have the space to dig around the outside.
Because the walls are already exposed during the lowering excavation?
Exactly. Perfect time to clean the wall, apply a quality waterproof membrane, install weeping tile drainage at the footing.
The weeping tile collects the water.
Yeah, collects it and directs it away safely, usually to a sump pump or storm sewer. It stops water before it even touches the foundation wall. That's the ideal.
But Toronto lots can be tight. What if you can't easily dig outside?
The interior waterproofing is a very solid alternative. Again, we do it while the foundation is exposed for the lowering.
Before the new floor goes in.
Correct. We install an interior drainage system, kind of like specialized piping, right under the edge of the new concrete floor.
And it catches any water that might seep through the wall.
It does. It channels that moisture to a sump pump pit, and the pump sends it out of the house, keeps the basement floor dry.
And the key is, doing either method during the lowering is just way more efficient, right?
Yeah.
Less disruption.
Absolutely. The foundation's open, accessible, it's cleaner, faster, and ultimately less costly than doing it later.
It really brings home that idea of thinking long term. It's not just about the extra space now.
Precisely. You might be planning a fantastic rec room, or maybe an income suite. Great goals.
But if you skip the waterproofing,
You risk undermining all of that. Drywall, insulation, flooring, they don't like water, damage, mold. It defeats the purpose.
and as the blog points out, it's not just protecting the new basement space. It helps protect the whole house structure from ground moisture.
It really does. It improves the overall health and integrity of your home, and financially. Bundling makes so much sense.
How do the cost savings actually work?
Well, think about it. The big excavation equipment is already there for the lowering.
Mobilization costs are covered.
Right. Our team is already working down at the foundation level where the waterproofing needs to happen.
Makes sense.
And crucially, there's no finished basement to worry about. No floors to rip up, no drywall to cut. It avoids all that extra cost and mess.
So it's that perfect while you're at it moment, big savings compared to an emergency fix later.
Oh, definitely. You're already investing significantly to lower the basement, enhance your foundation, boost property value.
Protecting that investment with waterproofing just seems logical.
It's fundamental. As we conclude in the blog, view waterproofing as part of the lowering job itself, not separate, not optional.
Delaying just seems to invite trouble. Emergency repairs, insurance hassles, regrets.
Significant regrets. That's what we hear sometimes.
So the message is clear. Planning basement lowering. Plan for waterproofing at the same time. Do it once, do it right.
That's the smartest approach. Treat it as one cohesive project, even if you're not finishing the basement right away.
Get the waterproofing done while everything's open.
Absolutely. It's a wise investment your future self will definitely appreciate.
So wrapping up, it seems pretty clear that when lowering your basement here in Toronto, waterproofing isn't an extra. It's fundamental.
It really is. By tackling water issues during that initial work, you're not just getting more space.
You're protecting your home structure, avoiding future costs, and just, well, avoiding a lot of stress.
If you are thinking about lowering your basement in the Toronto area and you want it done right, deep, dry, protected, please reach out to us at Icerino. We offer free consultations.
We've helped tons of homeowners integrate robust leak protection with their foundation projects.
We have. We'd be happy to chat about your specific situation.
And maybe a final thought for everyone listening. What are your biggest concerns or maybe questions when you think about your own basement and potential water issues? Something to mull over as you plan any future home improvements.